Stephen, I'm going to give you a chance to be a reporter for a minute and give us about 45 seconds on the match yesterday between the seniors and
the match. All right, yeah.
Score
right.
First of all.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was just 30 minutes. We made nine changes at half time, so just some players needed some match fitness. I think that was just to give them a bit of focus. Really, they would have known a couple of weeks ago that they were playing a game the second day, so it was up to people to be up to speed to coming in yesterday to make sure that they were ready to play. We hadn't got time to bring people in and train people and get them ready for training games, so we needed people to hit the ground running on the second day in, and that would have been dependent on them doing work leading into here. So it was a good workout. The under-21s played well, and we made a lot of changes because the defenders were late in. James Coleman, Nathan Collins, John Egan, not late in, but in today or in yesterday because they only finished a week ago. So in the second half of the game we had a lot of forwards in the team, so we're unbalanced for sure. But it was a very useful exercise and we're pleased with it.
Who won?
I think it finished 2-1, but it was the goals weren't that relevant, but it was just a good workout, you know.
And what about the new faces that you hadn't seen before, the likes of CJ Hamilton?
Yeah. Again, some players have to play out of position. So yeah, CJ's fitting in terrifically well, and you know he's got a really good attitude, and he did well.
And even though he's been in before, I guess it's almost a new experience for Michael Obafemi as well. You know, how have they integrated into the squad? Because there seems to have been a really good bond that's developed with this particular group of players.
Yeah, we're only in obviously a couple of days, so Michael's come in. He's you know, he's a great character, and you know he's fitted in fine, you know.
And in terms of the pace that Michael, Fessio, Gasole, CJ can bring, I mean, is that affecting your thinking already into how you're going to decide the first 11 against Armenia, the starting 11?
Not really. I think we want to give ourselves options over the 4 games. That's critical, and if you lose somebody from game to game, you just want to make sure you're not restricted with your options. I think that's important, and you know, some of the other players have done well, so it's not like players are just going to come in and come straight into the team straight away. You know, we've been on a good run of form, and players have done well in previous internationals and have scored goals, and that's been important.
It's an interesting challenge in terms of management, how you manage it. You've suggested that it's a bit like a tournament. You obviously want a good start. Do you put out your best team, or do you think about there's 3 more games to come in a very short period of time?
No, we're not in a position to think like that. You know, I think we've got to pick what we feel is the right game or the right team for Armenia. Obviously, Armenia is a challenge away from home, and you know, we've watched the matches. Obviously, they've had mixed results, but we've watched the matches that they've beaten Iceland at home and beaten Romania. So they're capable of winning matches. They won a group with Georgia and North Macedonia to qualify. So, and we know that we're going to be out here playing in probably 28, 29 degrees at 5 o'clock. So that's a challenge as well. So we've got to make sure that we're ready, and we're not thinking about matches in advance of that. You know, we've got to look at, you know, Armenia be a big challenge for us, and one that we're looking forward to.
Just one last one for me. You've said before that the squad now is a reflection of modern Ireland, of a new Ireland, if you like. And how important is that?
You know, it's not, none of it is picked for any of those reasons. It's just based on merit. You know, the players that are picked are based on merit, and that's just a reflection of all the work gone on throughout the country at all the clubs, all the players that have come through all the clubs, and so most of them into the international teams, and through some of them not. But it's a reflection on what's happening around the country, and the international team reflects what's happening around the country. And you know, football more than any other sport reaches all strands of society, and certainly you know, we want the international team to represent everyone really, and that's the way it is.
Thank you.
Go ahead, please.
Hi Stephen, have you got any injury issues with any of the players at the moment?
No, we haven't really. We had 27 players training today, so we haven't got injured. We've players that, have to manage stuff, you know, but nothing that will rule anyone out of the first game at the moment.
Well, so you've got 27 fit players and you've got 2.5 weeks with them. That's almost utopia, isn't it, for an international manager?
Right. Well, I think it's so quick, really. This is the only real training block is these 4 days, because after that, then you know it's just match day -1 and the preparation in Armenia, match day -2. So then once the games happen, then it's you know, you're training the players that aren't playing, and you're really into match day -1 before all the games, whether that be Ukraine, Scotland, and back out to Ukraine again. So it's not like you will have big numbers training. You won't. This will be the only days that we will have high numbers training. You know, obviously apart from the day before the game, which you're just fine tuning your tactical plans and so forth for the games itself. So listen, the attitude of the players is terrific. You know, they've shown always terrific attitude. They've come in, realise games are. They're excited by the games. They know we've got 4 tough games, and it's a big challenge getting through the 4 games in close proximity. It's a challenge that hasn't sort of, best of my knowledge, you know, hasn't existed before, to have a 4-game window in competitive games. So that's new territory for everyone. But we're not daunted by it. We're actually, you know, we're not daunted by it. We realise that's the challenge and one that we want to meet.
What are the prospects of any of the players starting all 4 games?
Yeah, that's entirely possible. Yeah, you know, so not everyone, I'm sure, but you know, that's certainly entirely possible.
Joe, please.
Hi, Steve.
How you doing?
Just to develop on Tony's point about playing with pace, and some of the players we have in this squad, you know, have immense pace. Do you feel that that's the best way to get the most out of these players, and the way to open up teams like Armenia is to play with pace, and that they will be able to live with that?
I think it'd be naive to suggest that, you know, I just bring players in who've not been capped before and just put them out and expect the opposition not to be able to live with it. I think some of the players that pace is an important component, but it's not the only component, and you've got to have the right balance in your team, and creativity, the physical attributes that you need, and speed, and certainly it is good to have the options. It is good to have the options. That's important, but we're not fixated on speed. We do think it's an important attribute, but it's only one attribute.
With 4 games in 10 days, it's very intense workload, particularly for some of those younger players coming in. How are you going to manage that?
Yeah, it's a challenge, and the flights as well. You know, you've got to get to Armenia. The time zones, play in hot temperatures, and fly through the night to get back to get ready for the Ukraine. So it is a big challenge, but that's what you're presented with. We're not in the least bit complaining about it. We're looking forward to it. So we see it as a challenge, and we have to get ourselves ready and be ready for the 4 games, and we will be able to utilise our squad. I'm sure invariably you sort of can pick up injuries or knocks between the games, and that's so. Already, obviously, Josh Cullen, for example, is suspended for the first game. So, but he'll be available for the other 3. So you will get changes and so forth across the games for sure.
Gavin?
Hi, Stephen. Most managers, when they're asked, kind of jealously guard their targets and their specific targets. You've been very open about aiming to win this Nations League group. I'm just interested in why you said that publicly.
Well, I think you know, it's a progression of the team. We've seen the team evolve over a period of time. From March to March, we scored 23 goals. You know, and the team's improved. We've got 5 clean sheets in the last 6 games, and you know, so we know that it's a big incentive, because we know the incentive that is there, that the possibility of getting second seed for the European Championship draw, the fact that you can actually get into the top table of the Nations League, or you can even get a playoff, you know, for a possible playoff for the Yerevan Championship. So there's a lot of motivation there. We realise we've got a tough group. We're drawn in a tough group. Ukraine quarterfinals of the European Championships. Really exceptional team. Scotland are on a high as a nation at the moment, and Armenia are improving, of course. So it's so we've got a tough group, but no, it's certainly our ambition to win the group, and that's what we want, and that's what we want to try and achieve.
It's just interesting because traditionally I don't think Irish managers would be that bold to pronounce that this is the target. You know, I just find it interesting.
I wouldn't say it's that unusual, you know, but I think you know, that's the way it is.
Final one on the line from Ed, please.
Stephen, hi. There's been international managers grumbling about the fixture schedule over the next couple of weeks. I suppose based on the last 12 months with the string of results, confidence in the squad, and the fact that this time last year the summer camp was so successful, would it be fair to say that you're not in that camp of thinking and that you're really embracing this and sort of creating that mini tournaments scenario?
Yeah, I always, even as at my club, I never minded 7 games in 21 days if everyone else had it as well. I always looked at it as an advantage. You know, that psychologically, if you prepare well and you're ready for it, and physically, you know, you understand what's required. I always seen it as an opportunity to get ahead of your rivals. You know, that's why I always liked those periods and thought, right, and I always say to players, this is our opportunity to get ahead now, because other people will be worried about the impact of it, but we've got to approach it in the way that we can. But it's not, sometimes when it's a disparity in, you know, for example, like we played Serbia, it was our third game in 6 days, and they were able to play Qatar and rest 11 players, do you know what I mean, before they played us. So in that, so, you know, sometimes when it's not even, I don't like that, but if it's even for everyone, I don't mind it. Do you know the kind of way? I don't mind it. I'm happy with it if it's even, if all the teams have to do that, you know. So obviously we're unsure, we don't know, you know, the other results around us will dictate the fixtures, but we know what we have to do. We know that we've got 4 games, so we just have to plan accordingly.
Okay, that ends the live set.